This one is by I Am No Man, and I've titled it, Come On, Joe, Let's Strangle Her.
Ooh.
I've had tons of stuff happen to me, which has always caused me to come to some sort of impasse. I do believe in the paranormal, and yet I don't really believe in an afterlife. So I'm not sure where the line is drawn there.
That's just stupid.
Yeah, you're just stupid. Nice. I was sleeping over at my friend's very creepy house when I was about 12. Her brother was our age and would often wake us up at the crack of dawn. So I'm sleeping and I suddenly jump awake to see a boy standing over me, holding my friend's cat. He says, "Come on, Joe, let's strangle her." The cat was Joe.
Oh.
So a Dr. Evil situation where he's just stroking the cat, be like, "Come on, Joe, let's strangle her." And Joe's like, "Yo, don't drag me into this, you weirdo."
I don't even have thumbs.
Yeah. So I can't do that, dude. Scratch her to high hell, though. You want that? I can still hear his voice perfectly. In my sleep-disoriented state, I moaned in an irritated way and pulled the covers over my face, assuming it was my friend's brother. Well, the next morning I realized how weird what I had heard was, and I asked my friend's brother about it too, and of course, he had no idea what I was talking about. One of the worst parts was the sound her cat was making while it was being held. That angry, low growl cats make when they're just pissed right off. And we can all visualize that sound right now. We can hear it.
It's also the same sound that a cat makes when a demon's holding it.
I am a cat of the light. Release me. Some other stuff. When I was a young kid, I lived in a really effed up house. I was in a tent in our basement playing with my older sister while my other sister went upstairs for snacks. Suddenly, we see a figure of someone walk past the tent and we both just freeze. A few seconds later, we hear growling sounds. The growling was my oldest sister coming down the stairs. She said she was growling because she had heard voices talking to her from in the pantry. She got scared, so pretended she was a bear and ran back downstairs. We were young.
That actually might have worked, though.
Yeah, she starts growling. The ghost's like, "Whoa, hey, hold on a second. Was this a bear in this house?
We already got this one.
No, this is the wrong house." Also in that house, my dad felt footsteps on the end of his bed. He still tells this story, and it really freaks him out. He felt them several times in one night until he finally heard them actually running from his bed to the bedroom door, and he freaked out. And again in that house, my cousin, who was a baby at the time, was sleeping in my bed/crib. My aunt would go check on him, and the drapes would be open, so she would close them. It happened 2 more times before she got angry and yelled at my dad for opening them. Of course, he hadn't. No one had.
Except for the ghost that believes babies should have some sunlight.
Yeah, but give this kid some light, damn it. The whole let's strangle her thing, creepy, dude. Especially because you're holding the family cat. Like, "Come on, Joe. Wouldn't it be fun to strangle this human?" And Joe's like, "I mean, yeah, but I didn't sign up for this still."
What if that's what, like, little kid future serial killers saw?
A meeting with a demon that led them to the idea of strangulation.
Yep. Now that we're going to release this, you'll see this as a future, like a defense scenario in court.
Yeah. They'll be like, roll that clip from that weird podcast, the Freaky Deaky.
Yeah, the one where
this will seal the deal.
Yeah, the one where the science guy actually talks about what happened.
Yeah. D-list Bill Nye over there explains exactly what happened.
D-list, I'm moving up.
Yeah, well, Bill Nye himself is like C-list, so not much. You're not far behind Bill Nye, let me say that.
Unacceptable, man.
What do you think about the fact that the whole tent story there in the basement or wherever, the sister goes up for snacks, and at the same time that they see some creepy figure walk by the tent, which in its own right, terrifying, but at the same time they see that, their sister is hearing voices in the pantry upstairs.
I don't know if, like, the tent would have been as scary, but now that Sixth Sense came out.
Exactly, yeah. So everyone has a visual of exactly how creepy that would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just the idea of not knowing. Like, also, Supernatural had a Wendigo episode, and there was a similar situation where the shadow moves across the tent super quickly. Wow, that's a throwback to like 10 years ago, but also a great episode.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, you should watch Supernatural. It was on the CW, but it was pretty good.
I've never been able to get into CW stuff, but I do hear it's good. So.
There's only 1 or 2 shows that the CW put out where I was actually like, oh, I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
After being 15 years old.
Yeah, exactly. I think they had a certain demographic, and by the time they became popular, I was already out of that.
Yeah. Yeah, because back when you were there, it was the WB.
That wasn't called the WB back then. It was called Warner Brothers. That was before we shorted and everything.
Wow.
It's before we had to type it on a screen, and we're like, let's just put B.O.B.
No, you're sitting there at the TV changing the 3 channels.
for my dad.
Yeah.
Because I was the remote.
You were the remote. That's what he called you. He's like,
Yeah.
is the remote around? Is the remote home?
Yeah.
Where's my remote? Anyway, this got off track.